This video is about epigenetics in relation to Ayurveda. Vedic science never laid emphasis on genetics alone. Along with genetic constitution, lot of other factors are given due importance like diet, lifestyle, mental health, deeds of previous life, etc. Modern science is rediscovering those ancient principles that are mentioned as epigenetics. Epigenetics has transformed the way we think about genomes. It is the study of changes in organism caused by modification of gene expression rather than alteration of the genetic code itself. It works through chemical tags added to chromosomes that in effect switch genes on or off. These modifications do not change the DNA sequence, but instead they affect how cells read genes. Probable mechanisms of epigenetics are DNA methylation. In DNA methylation, epigenetic changes alter the physical structure of DNA. The addition of a methyl group or a chemical cap to part of the DNA molecule, which prevents certain genes from being expressed. Histone modifications. Histones are proteins that DNA wraps around. Without histones, DNA would be too long to fit inside cells. If histones squeeze DNA tightly, the DNA can't be read by the cells. The modifications that relax the histones can make the DNA accessible to protein that read genes. Non-coding RNA. A non-coding RNA is a functional RNA molecule that is transcribed from DNA but not translated into proteins. In general, non-coding RNAs function to regulate gene expression at the transcriptional and post-transcriptional level. Our DNA is not our destiny. Dietary and lifestyle conditions affected the genetic expression of not only the individual but also their children. It is through epigenetics that environmental factors like diet, stress, and prenatal behavior can make an imprint on genes that are passed from one generation to the next. Scientists think some of the epigenetic changes in parents' sperm and egg cells may avoid the reprogramming process and make it through to the next generation. If this is true, things like the food a person eats before they conceive could affect their future child. Epidemiological evidence has shown an association between prenatal malnutrition, that is, intrauterine growth restriction of the fetus, and a higher risk of developing metabolic disease in adult life. An inadequate intrauterine milieu affects both growth and development, leading to a permanent programming of endocrine and metabolic functions. Programming may be due to epigenetic modifications of genes. Delivery by elective caesarean section also has shown an increased risk of certain diseases such as asthma, type 1 diabetes, obesity, celiac disease, and cancer. The early emotional environment can lead to long-lasting epigenetic changes. Traumatic experiences in childhood affect metabolism in the long term, and those changes are hereditary. In later life, diagnosis of adolescent and adulthood schizophrenia, borderline personality disorders, post-traumatic stress disorder, and major depression are there. The epigenetic change that turns off genes that help to repair damaged DNA, leading to an increase in DNA damage, which in turn increases cancer risk. Recent discoveries in epigenetics shows how nature and nurture works in concert. Here, nature are genes and nurture the environment. The only thing we know for sure is that we are a product of dynamic interaction between nature and nurture. Nothing about us is written in stone. Therefore, as long as we breathe, we are a work in progress, constantly changing. Epigenetic modifications are dynamic and potentially reversible processes. Ayurveda is full of examples of dynamic interaction among nature and nurture. Ayurveda believes in incarnation of soul. That is why it is said that at the time of union of sperm and ovum, soul with four subtle bhutas and with the speed of man, that is mind, transmigrate from one body to the other on the basis of past deeds. Whole universe along with our body is made up of five essential elements called Mahabhutas. These five Mahabhutas are Vayu, Tej, Jal, Prithvi and Akash. During embryogenesis, four Mahabhutas, that is Vayu, Tej, Jal, Prithvi, from four sources of origin, that is mother through ovum, father through sperm, Aharas, that is nutrition derived from maternal diet for supplying nourishment to the embryo, and Atma, that is soul encircling due to deeds of previous life, participate in the formation of embryo. Then all four bhutas with four sources of origin constitutes 16 in number. The born child then reflects the bhautik or physical characteristics as per relative predominance of maternal, paternal, soul or nutritional factors. Man, being constantly associated with soul, establishes link with the present body. Soul takes birth only due to association with one. Once dissociated, soul attains salvation. At the time of embryogenesis, 6 essential factors are required. Matrij, that is maternal, Pitrij, that is paternal, Atmaj, that is soul, Satmaj, that is palatability, Rasaj, that is nutrition, Satvaj, that is psyche. By going through the various bhavas, it can be interpreted that Matrij and Pitrij bhavas are responsible for organogenesis in embryo as per genetic constitution. Satmaj bhavas reflect the use of palatable substances by mother. The same would be palatable to the fetus. Rasaj bhavas are responsible for nutrition of fetus, which depends upon the nutritional status of mother. Satmaj and Rasaj bhavas are responsible for healthy gene expression and normal organogenesis in fetus. Atmaj and Satvaj bhavas are responsible for psychological development of fetus. Psychological development of fetus depends upon the psychological status of the mother and father. The topics listened by the pregnant woman, influence of deeds of previous life and specific practice of man. These factors are Atmaj and Satvaj and responsible for formation of nature and intellect of fetus, along with the longevity in later life. Due to these six variables, constitution of bhutas differ and thus it determines the normal and abnormal development of fetus in utero, along with development of physical and psychological traits in fetus. After birth, the future life of that human being more or less depends upon constitutional development in utero with interplays of six bhavas. At the time of union of sperm and ovum, which dosh will become predominant, that kind of constitution would-be fetus will have. Formation of seven kinds of prakriti or constitution depends upon sperm and ovum and predominance of naturally present dosh at the time of union. Dosh predominance will be natural or abnormal, which depends upon the health status, behavior and psyche of the couple at that time. If there is abnormal visheshan of dosh, it may lead to congenital abnormalities in the fetus. For this sake, rules and regulations followed by couple before and at the time of procreation are mentioned in detail. Here, the formation of prakriti means physical and psychological constitution of the person. Body is made up of five essential elements: Vayu, Agni, Jal, Prithvi and Akash. Among them, Vayu, Agni and Jal are representatives of Vata, Pitta and Kapha, and they are predominantly responsible for health and disease in the body. Other two factors, Prithvi is base and Akash is empty space, are the workplace of Vata, Pitta and Kapha. Thus, three types of constitutions are recognized, that is Vata, Pitta and Kapha. Despite it, Man has major influence on the body and responsible for the formation of psychological constitution of the body. Psychological constitution, that is Manasik Prakriti, is of further three types depending upon the psychological behavior of person: Sattva, Raj and Tam. The science of epigenetics is so developed in Ayurveda that the effect of different dosh vitiating diet on fetus is mentioned. When a pregnant woman consumes diet capable of vitiating Vata continuously, then vitiating Vayu makes the fetus idiot, deaf, dumb, having hoarse and nasal voice, lame, humpbacked, dwarf, possessing less or more number of body parts, and other abnormalities like contracted pinna of the ear. Pitta vitiating diet leads to baldness, premature graying of the hair, absence of hair on face, tone of color of skin, nail and hair, etc. Kapha vitiating diet produces skin disorders, congenital presence of teeth, leukoderma and anemia. When all the three dosh vitiating diet is taken, it may cause mixed abnormalities. During pregnancy, sometimes a woman desires some unusual things for whom she was not accustomed to in past. These are basically desires of the fetus expressed to the mother. If not fulfilled, may cause adverse psychological effect on mother that may directly affect the fetus by the epigenetics and may cause certain abnormalities in fetus or even fetal death. Ayurvedic science believes in incarnation. As the fetus develops and its man and indriya start functioning, it expresses the desires based upon the experiences of previous life. We usually observe that some persons are having exceptional talent or interest in certain fields, though both his or her parents are not possessing this kind of talent or interest. Those previous life interests are expressed by fetus through mother. By interpreting these exceptional desires of the mother, the future interests of fetus post birth in later life can be predicted. For instance, if mother expresses the desire to wearing silk garments and ornaments during pregnancy, then would-be child will become handsome and fashion conscious. If she shows desires to live in pious place, would-be child may have religious nature. Thus, respecting the pregnant woman's desires during pregnancy and maintaining her psychological health are responsible for good epigenetics. By following guidelines for pregnant women mentioned in Ayurveda, we can modify epigenetics and get physically and psychologically healthy child. After delivery, post-delivery guidelines in the form of Sutika Paricharya and various sanskars for child are there. Epigenetics starts its role since ovulation and spermatogenesis and works throughout life of a person. We can further modify the genetically predetermined state of body by following healthy lifestyle in our life. It is in our hands to modify the unfavorable outcome of our genetic constitution in our life and refining our genetic traits for future generation too. For this, Ayurvedic literature is full of guidelines to live healthy life by following Dincharya, that is daily routines, Ritucharya, seasonal variation in lifestyle, and Satvrit, conduct rules, Ahar Vidhi, these are the dietary habits, use of Rasayan, Rasayan means health and longevity producing drugs, Panchkaram, that is biopurification, yoga and meditation. Definitely, if these rules are followed by someone, it may cause healthy gene expression during embryogenesis and mask the genetic expression of hereditary disorders in later life too. Some of these adaptations in genetics may transfer to the next progeny. By improving our own genetic expression indirectly, we are improving our next generations too. So, it's my humble request to everyone get back to our roots and inculcate these age old guidelines in our lifestyle. Stay healthy, stay happy. Thank you.